Take the next right onto Causeway A312.
As it sort of goes down to mixed metaphors, then it's just rather undignified. And when
continue on A312 for 1 mile.
It often causes interviewers to be quite sort of shocked and set off balance because it's so rare to hear, but so refreshing in a strange way.
Yeah, a lot of the ministers who were paraded across TV are also now just liars. I can't look up Dominic Raab again. I mean, when he stood there on TV, I think it was Pincher, when he was saying, something unspecific, as if it really made a difference. Did you know that there was a sex test? Yes. But he tried to make this stupid legal argument, although everybody's going to sit there and say, oh, he's made a good point, as if it was a debating society. And, and it was other people that they sent out who then compounded the lie with more, and again, now all we see is a lot of politicians, it erodes trust in all of them, and we see a lot of politicians stand in front of people knowing they're telling a lie. You can see in their faces they wish they were anywhere else. And as I say, it's a real kind of downhill movement. It just carries on and on, down and down. We lose more trust, we lose more hope even, because we're being lied to by the people who are supposed to be protecting us.
Michael, thank you very much indeed for getting in touch and making your point. That's Michael in Brentwood there in Essex. When you call 0345 606 0973, I'll take some more calls between now and 7 o'clock. Read some texts and tweets too. Text 84850, tweeted LBC as Boris Johnson comes to the end of his premiership, talking this morning about his legacy. I'm Richard Spur, it's LBC. Now the headlines with Lottie Morley.
A major pipeline supplying gas to Europe hasn't been switched back on this morning as planned after G7 countries agreed a price cap on Russian oil exports. The Kremlin-backed energy company Gazprom says it found defects it says needs to be repaired. Millions of people will be invited to get another COVID jab from Monday. People who live and work in care homes and people who are housebound in England will be offered the new vaccine that targets both the original and the Omicron variants. And Serena Williams may have just played her last tennis match after hinting at retirement after the US...
In a quarter of a mile of Wagoners Roundabout, take the second exit onto the Parkway A312.
The UK today, some sunny spells in the north and east, and a high of 24 degrees.
This is LBC.
When it feels like money's tight, it's good to know that at Tesco, we price match hundreds of products to Aldi every week. From bread to butter. So you can be sure you'll find the products that matter most to you. Because right now, every little helps. Prices match pro rata and checked on hundreds of comparable products from GB Aldi stores and or online twice weekly.
Exit the roundabout onto the Parkway.
Match varied by week and available to varies by store.
Continue on the Parkway for 1 mile.
.com/Aldi price match.
Hey, it's time to wake up and smell the VAT returns.
From April, making tax digital applies to businesses with a turnover of under 85k. That means you.
And paper records ain't going to cut it this time. You have to keep digital records using software like QuickBooks.
But don't worry, we've made it easier than ever. Make tax digital with QuickBooks.
We're Flight Centre, your See the World Centre, your holiday tour and explore centre, we're your getaway centre, honeymoon centre, once in a lifetime experience centre, we're your cruise centre, adventure centre, your beach safari and city break centre, we're your one-stop shop, we never stop, always on call, you'll have a ball centre, your centre, our centre, Flight Centre, at the centre for 40 years. Flight Centre, at or protected.
Lily lover or sunflower worshipper, treat yourself to your favourite flowers today at zingflowers.com. Amazing every time.
EE full fiber broadband can connect 100 devices around your home, like laptops, smartphones, smart TVs, smart fridges, even smart kettles. You can connect them all. Pretty impressive, huh? This is EE full fiber broadband, powered by BT. Limited availability. Check coverage at ee.co.uk.
A regular brisk 10-minute walk is a great way to get more active and can make a real difference to your health. Start today and download the free Active 10 app. Better health. Let's do this.
Richard Spur on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Mark is texting 84850 and says, what am I listening to? The Boris apologists have taken over LBC. The man is an unfettered liar, incompetent buffoon and totally lacking in any...
In a quarter quarter of a mile, at Cranford Parkway interchange, take the second exit onto the M4 slip road to Heathrow Airport, M25.
Is a liar. But I do return to the one point. This is not supposed to be a defence of Boris in particular, but I do refer to one point I made earlier ago, I think, which is that over the years, in times where there was less scrutiny of, ministers, then there would have been so many lies. It's just that we didn't used to find out about them. I'm not saying that that makes them right in any way. But fortunately, things have changed in terms of the way the media interact with politicians and the way that interviewers hold them to account. There was a time when, if you went on a sort of television or radio interview as a minister, the rather po-faced interviewer would say, Minister, welcome. Please feel as free as you like and talk about whatever you want for as long as you like. Something like that. And then there'd be no suggestion of any...
Exit the roundabout onto the slip road.
Thank goodness things have changed. Anyway, a buffoon...
In a quarter of a mile, merge onto M4.
Phil says Johnson was a complete and utter disaster. He was a liar, a thief and a charlatan. As for the vaccine rollout, all he did was write a blank cheque and left others to gamble with it. Luckily for us, they happened to win. Brexit will see Britain becoming a third world country. And Maggie, boo-hoo, poor old Boris, so misunderstood and done his best, let down by others. I'm glad he is gone. He's just a flim-flam man and the worst Prime Minister this country has ever elected. Wake up, man. Ukraine was just an opportunity to a photo op with a very admired Ukrainian Prime Minister versus his shoddy, shabby reputation, and he wanted to share the limelight. He does not give a damn about Ukraine. He is a liar and a selfish, shameless con artist, and Brexit isn't done. He has no lost election, that's true. And I think Maggie needs to come off the fence then. 0345 606 0973. John is in Enfield. John, good morning.
Oh, hello, how are you, right?
Yeah, not so bad, thanks. John, what would you like to say about old Blondie?
Yeah, I think the legacy was the importance of having an electric kettle for Peppa the Pig.
Is that you or a dog?
That's me laughing.
Oh, right. That was a small whippet. Yeah, I'd forgotten about Peppa Pig. Yeah, that was rather surreal, wasn't it?
It was, yes, it was. But I think the legacy really, because, we know that he's, obsessive liar, yeah? And, you needed someone like that to get Brexit over the line, because, the Northern Ireland issue was always going to be a stock-stumbling block. But it needed someone to say that it's all sorted to actually get it over the line. But I don't think you should forget, we talk about liars, yeah? But all he had to overcome was Theresa May, who for 3 or 4 years lied about what she was doing, yeah? And in my mind, she's the biggest liar that really landed us all in this issue of, where, Boris came in. But we needed him to sort that part out,
Well, Theresa May just simply couldn't get any of her Brexit deals through. She just I think by the end she was so frustrated.
Don't forget Ollie Robbins, yeah? Because, what was the Brexit the guy officially in front of is it David Davis? I think he was the guy.
The one who resigned.
Yeah, but she called them all in, do you remember, to Checkers, took away their mobile phone and then disclosed this plan that she'd been working for 2 years with Ollie Robbins behind their backs, yeah? And that's why David Davis had to resign, because she she went behind everyone's back. In my mind, she's a traitor, yeah? And obviously then Boris came in to clear up all the mess, yeah, with the help of Cummings, yeah? And then obviously COVID hit us as well, which wasn't a good thing.
In half a mile, keep right to stay on M4.
It sort of served its purpose to get Brexit over the line, and now, we are where we are, but that's no thanks to Theresa May.
Well, no, and many people who disagree with the leaving of the European Union anyway would be even more critical of the Prime Minister's efforts to get us through Brexit. But at least he did do something that May couldn't do. But I
keep right to stay on M4.
And the Parliament at large was simply so sick and frustrated of the impasse of the stalemate that it could have been.
Continue on M4 for 2 miles.
Theresa May got us into, and over the years that she lied about it, how many businesses went out of business, because she was trying to get us to stay, and then at the end of it, she gave a lie to Go, before Theresa May came in, Go was going to be backing Boris, yeah, and in the height of all the confusion, he tried to get hold of Boris, and Boris wasn't available. He was watching a cricket match, and that's what swayed Grove to say, well, this guy's not Prime Ministerial material, I'm not going to back him, so it's all his character, it sort of shows.
Michael Gove, the master of the last minute bolt fast. John, thanks ever so much for getting in touch there in Enfield. Jay in Clacton is texting 84850. Morning, Boris didn't do everything as he should have done, but he isn't the first or last Prime Minister that made mistakes. If the opportunity arose, I would vote for him to enable him to finish what he started. He still had a lot to do. May, I don't believe Johnson is I don't think this is Theresa. I don't believe Johnson is a deliberate liar. He's not afraid to bend the rules to resolve a stalemate. Often he was trying to save the skins of the loyal MPs he surrounded himself with. That is his weakness, being too weak to reprimand and sack. And indeed, there is a headline in one of the papers today saying that he was too nice a person to deal with some of his rather entrenched...
In a quarter of a mile, keep right to stay on M4.
Breakup of the UK, unfortunately. The way he has behaved and led the Tories is going to result in the SNP either wiping the Tories out in Scotland or the winning of an independence vote. Great job, Boris, says Kenny. Williams in Newcastle, morning.
Good morning.
Keep right to stay on M4.
John Liverpool when he was Speaker of the House of Commons. Now, Prime Minister's question time was invented.
Continue on M4 for 4 miles.
The Prime Minister could have his sanity and his prove that he knew what was going on. And the members of the House of Commons. Now, the definition of sanity is the ability to answer a simple question. Now, when John Bercow was the Speaker, used to be always saying the Prime Minister would be heard and the questioner would be heard, but he never ever said the Prime Minister will answer the question, and that's what he's there for. Now, if they said Cameron was slippery as a grizzly. Now, I recorded loads of question times when Cameron was answering, and he hardly ever answered the question. I could have given that to the Labour Party, say this is the guy the Conservatives have got in charge. Now, but once that lot set in, Johnson knew he could get away with this, all kinds of things, like dodging the question, or turning it back onto the opposition and all that. So that's where it went. There was a thing in our Constitution, which was one of the guarantors, if the Prime Minister behaved improperly, and it was allowed to slide away. And now question time has become a sort of gladiator show where you've got to show your charisma.
I mean, to an extent it always was that, but I do take your point. I mean, firstly, I don't think that the primary function of PMQs is to test the sanity of the Prime Minister.
I didn't say that was the primary function, but that was what I put in. I was saying that somebody can't answer a simple question.
And actually,
it's a sign of insanity, which is true.
It was Tony Blair, though, Willie. It was Tony Blair that brought Prime Minister's questions down from two times a week to once a week.
He shouldn't have done it. Now, Tony Blair, he wasn't particularly a good chap, was he? But what I was specifically saying, how can Cameron be so long a Prime Minister and not answer a question which has been put by fellow MPs elected by the public, and that's where the rock fit in, because...
Well, I think politicians for a very long time have been pains often not to answer questions, William. I don't think we can say that David Cameron is the first MP not to answer questions directly. It's a sort of thing that MPs do.
In 2 miles, at junction 6, take the A355 exit to Slough Central.
By backstabbing colleagues who should have supported him, people looking after their own interests have damaged the Tory party irreversibly. Don't care about Partygate, they were all working together, so a few sandwiches and a glass of wine at the end of the day, so what? The snitching snakes are traitors. Tony, Bojo has no shame. The moment I watched the Queen sat alone at the funeral, Bojo and his cronies were getting on the lash. And Martin says, please can we move on? Well, yeah, that maybe is what will happen on Monday. Well, it will certainly happen in some respects, as a new leader is appointed of the Conservative Party, and indeed of the country. 03456060973. You've just about got time to get in touch if you want to have your say and tell me what for you is the legacy of the outgoing Boris Johnson. Is there any truth or likelihood in the suggestion that he might come back if Liz Truss, or whoever it is, probably going to be Liz Truss, isn't it? I think probably very little chance of Rishi Sunak if they lose the next election. And what will you remember him for most? It's LBC. I'm Richard Spur, nearly 7:15.
LBC. Join me, Andrew Castle, here on LBC. How can you not expect, if you're using the NHS at this point, that there's going to be a delay, that you're not going to be able to just stroll in? And if you go privately, if you've got any money at all and any sense, you will. You'll do it. And that's what people are doing. They're paying their way out because the NHS...
In half a mile, at junction 6, take the A355 exit to Slough Central.
This morning from 7, listen on your radio and on Global Player. LBC.
Imagine being this close to a real-life shark. Or hundreds of jellyfish. You don't have to when you visit Sea Life London.
Exit at junction 6.
Thousands of sea creatures from all around the globe. As for seahorses that sound like... or a turtle that plays its flippers like a tambourine.
In a quarter of a mile, at the roundabout, take the third exit onto Tons Lane, A355.
See the wonder under London at Sea Life London Aquarium.
For every friend, there's a beautiful hand-type bouquet, plant or gift just for them at zingflowers.com. Amazing every time.
We're Flight Centre, your see the world centre, your holiday tour and explore centre. We're your getaway centre, honeymoon centre, once in a lifetime experience centre. We're your cruise centre, adventure centre, your beach, safari and city break centre. We're your one-stop shop. We never stop, always on call. You'll have a ball centre. Your centre, our centre, Flight Centre. At the centre for 40 years. Flight Centre. At Protected.
I talk a lot about love, and I love this range of biscuits from Lu. It's not just because they're French.
Exit the roundabout onto Tons
So
Lane.
many memories of them as a boy. All because they come in a fantastic range, chocolatey, crunchy.
In a quarter of a mile, turn left towards Sippenham Lane.
The passion and care that goes into making them. Oh la. That's why Lu tastes the love.
Whoa, did you see that?
She just unfolded her Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4.
I didn't know you could have hands-free video calls on a phone and paint a beautiful self-portrait at the same time.
And now she's taking selfies while doing her nails.
That's mad.
Hands-free video calls and photos with the Galaxy Z Flip 4. A serious flex. Buy yours at Samsung.com and get a guaranteed £250 off when you trade in any smartphone in any condition. Purchased by 31st of October. Your old phone for trade-in required. T's and C's apply.
Ah, the shorter days are coming.
Turn left towards Sippenham Lane.
Immune system, a bit of support. There it is, Actimel. Packed with vitamin D, Actimel helps to support your immune system. Not
Continue for 1.5 miles.
and into your morning routine. Actimel, immune support, contains vitamin D which helps support the immune system.
This is LBC with Richard Spur.
Good morning to Mark in Norwich, who's texting 84850. Brexit is a failure and not completed. The UK is set to break up. NHS, police, government, nothing is working. Britain is becoming more insignificant by the day, and Johnson badly damaged our democracy. And Tony, legacy, seriously? The man who said, let the bodies pile high, really? Lying to Her Majesty the Queen, seriously? And when was over Brexit over the line? Has the UK taken control? Brexit is far from done. Meanwhile, his Brexit buddy Nigel is flogging booze. Nigel Farage and his red, white and blue gins, that's referring to. England conned by 2 door-to-door salesmen. Right. 0345 606 0973. Lenny is in Ashford. Lenny, good morning.
Good morning, Richard.
Hi.
Well, I'd like to congratulate your earlier caller, John, because I think everything he said, I personally totally agree with him, including Theresa May was traitorous.
Go on.
Yeah, and that was it. I think everything he said was true. But well done, John. But regarding Boris, I believe that with Boris's mentality, is his ego, his self-esteem, and there are no barriers or limits he will go to achieve his objective, and even lying with no conscience. And he hasn't got a conscience.
And he hasn't achieved his objective because he's got to go now.
I know, and there is one presenter who is actually supporting Boris coming back, and I now refuse to listen to his programme. So, you know, I feel so strongly about it.
What do you make of the now almost certainty that Liz Truss is taking on the baton of premiership? What do you think she'll have to do in her first couple of months at Lenny?
Well, I'll be quite honest. With Liz Truss becoming our Prime Minister, I personally I feel like a turkey and Christmas dinner's round the corner. And I think she's going to be a disaster. And one thing to give us all a bit of confidence, I know this will never ever happen, but if she said we are very short of money, so I am going to get back as much of the billions that have been gone out of our country by fraud. I'm going to get that back and give it to good and do it to a good purpose.
All right, Lenny, thank you very much indeed. Mark is texting. Mark is in Edinburgh. Richard, Boris Johnson's legacy is that he has ensured that Scots will choose independence in the same way that Margaret Thatcher ensured that Scots would choose devolution. I'm not entirely sure that the Scots will legally get a referendum anytime soon.
In 300 yards, turn left onto Deal Avenue.
Tory members will regret ousting Boris Johnson if the next PM loses the next general election.